Mark Bittman, and this is UC Berkeley's Edible Education 101. I'm here with Judith Redmond of Full Belly Farm. Hi.
Hi.
It's great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I'd like a brief history of the farm and how it developed.
We were all in Yolo County, 4 of us, farming and learning about agriculture in our different worlds, and wanted, after farming in different places, wanted to own land, and realized that doing that together would be the only way we could afford it. And when a piece of property became available, we bought it together and started farming together.
And when was that?
That was in 1989, and we've been farming as Full Belly Farm ever since. It was 100 acres, and it's now grown to about 400 acres. We were going to farmers markets from the very beginning. Now we're going to the same 3 farmers markets every week, but also we have a community-supported agriculture program, and we sell to restaurants, stores, and wholesale accounts. We grow lots and lots of different fruits and vegetables, and I feel like we've evolved in many ways as the food movement has evolved and grown.
You grow more than fruits and vegetables.
We sure do, yeah.
So what else?
We have a very big flower program, which is interesting because when we first started growing flowers, people were focused on the idea that they wanted to buy organic food because they thought it would be better for their health, and they didn't understand why flowers would matter. But that program has also evolved as people's understanding of why organic is important has evolved. And we also have a lot of animals on the farm that are very much integrated into our production cycle. We have a whole program to grow the food for those animals because we don't like to buy it in. We have hedgerows, and so I think you could say that with a lot of the plants that we have on the farm, we're growing insects that can pollinate and help prevent diseases and help control other insects.
Lots of bees.
Well, when you say bees, people think of honeybees. When I think of pollinating insects, I think also of hundreds, literally, of other wasps and bees in that same family that are specialists in pollinating a lot of the crops that we eat.
Right.
And so many of them are things like bumblebees that we're familiar with, and other kinds of bees that look kind of like the honeybee but are solitary. And then there's just all these wasps and multitudes of other insects in California that can be beneficial.
I want to sort of have a complete list of what you grow. So and you do make honey, I'm sure, yeah?
Very little.
Oh, that's interesting. But fruits and vegetables of all kinds, flowers. You are doing some meat now.
We're selling meat. We sell eggs also.
Grains, aren't you
We sell
growing some
grains, yes.
Nuts?
Yep, we sell almonds and walnuts.
Berries, but those are fruits.
Strawberries, yeah.
So is there any sort of family of food that you're not growing?
Let's see. Probably, yeah. But we grow a lot, and sometimes I think too much.
Too much variety.
Too much to keep track of and to do efficiently or to do well, but we love to experiment and try new things, and we grow a lot of stuff. Yeah.
I'm going to jump around a little bit here. You mentioned that people's idea of why organic farming was beneficial has evolved, and I wonder if you could just walk through that a little bit.
Well, the easiest way for me to talk about it might be in terms of our program where we have boxes, CSA boxes, that we put together for people who become members of our farm. And when people first join, they are usually thinking in terms of, oh, I could lose weight, I could eat more vegetables, it might be convenient, I'll just go pick up my box, I'll have all my shopping done for the week. Those are the ways that people talk about it when they first join the CSA. Now, we started our CSA in 1992, and we have people who are members now that started with us in 1992. And as they stick with us, all kinds of other parts of that relationship become clear to them. And it's about a farm that doesn't get nitrates into the groundwater. It's about a farm that tries its best to pay a fair wage to the workers. It's about a farm where they can bring their kids and have their kids be safe and find out how to pick a carrot out of the ground or collect eggs from the hens. So it's about a lot of other things that we don't normally think about as organic, but we do think about in terms of community and a farm that's based in a place for 30 years and has evolved to really become part of the community in a big way. You know, the environment, the creek that runs past our farm, the air quality, the people that live around us, all of those things.
And so I would say that goes beyond organic. I mean, there is a classic, or there's a legal definition of organic, which doesn't address a lot of what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it is that spectrum of realizing that it's about more than your own personal health. I think that's what I find very exciting as people get to know us as a farm. They realize it's about them, but it's also about their neighbors.
Right, and it's about more than we're not using pesticides.
That's right.
It's not that simple.
Yeah.
Is it a closed system, or does it approach being a closed system, or do you bring a bunch of stuff in from outside?
It's not a closed system on our farm, which isn't to say it would be impossible to make it a closed system, but our farm, we do try to grow as much of the food for our animals as we can, but we still have to buy a little bit. We bring in compost to the farm. We buy seeds from the farm, from other places. And one way that I think about that is that we're trying to be as productive as possible at the same time as we're as restorative of the environment and so forth. And what that means is that we have 5 box trucks that are on the road 6 days a week going in different directions, full of 8 or 10 pallets, and it's like thousands of pounds of vegetables, and they're leaving the farm. So we are exporting to the Bay Area nutrients and carbon and all kinds of important parts of our soil and of our farm and our blood and sweat and tears. They're leaving. And so it would we do grow cover crops, and that does help to fix nitrogen from the air and return it to the soil. We do try to do as much as possible to reduce our need for bringing inputs in, but no, we are not a closed loop at this point.
You're the biggest, I don't know whether you call the farm organic or regenerative or sustainable or all of the above, but yours is the biggest of those farms in the true sense of the word that I've ever seen. Are there others like you around in the state or in the country that you know of?
I kind of think of us as the goal in my mind, you know, that in terms of all of those words that you just used. I really would love it if our goal was community-based farm. I feel like that's a little bit what my vision of it is. And I think we are unique in some ways, and yet I feel that we have a lot of neighbors or friends in the organic farming community and even in the conventional farming community that we look to and that we learn from and that we share with. So it's hard to make that comparison in some ways. And I'm not sure how useful that is. And in fact, I
suppose it was just my way of saying it was really impressive when I visited.
I also always want to question people when they think about large. What is that measurement? Is it the USDA measurement of large in terms of gross revenue? Is it an acreage measurement of large, which can be completely turning gross revenue on its head, depending whether you're in the Midwest or you're in San Diego County growing horticultural crops. So I always like to have people check what they mean when they say large. We have 6 owners right now of our farm, and many, many families that depend on us. So there's just all these different ways that we're large or not large. It really is an interesting question when it comes to agriculture, what large really means.
Last question, very quickly. Do you have a sense of how many people you're serving every week or every year? Do you have a sense of how many families are relying on you? I mean, I know I'm a regular customer.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I haven't ever done that analysis, but we have a festival once a year, and about 5,000 people come to it. And I'd say the majority of them are families bringing their kids. And if you were to walk around that festival and ask that question, you would be thrilled at the stories that you would get from those families of the ways that they had plugged in to this food and farming movement. You know, maybe they were CSA members, maybe they were farmers market members, maybe they came to Full Belly Camp and then became counselors at that camp. There's all these different ways that they can plug in and become connected to a community kind of based farm. And so I think there's many, many thousands of families that actually are connected and nourished by the valley, the Cape Bay Valley, where my farm is, as well as my farm and others that surround the Bay Area, surround the East Bay.
Great. Thanks, Judith.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm Mark Bittman, and I've been talking with Judith Redmond of Full Belly Farm.